Right guys, welcome back to Chop's Garage. This morning we're straight into cleaning the VW Caddy van because we have a buyer who wants to come and see it today. I am in very much torn between selling it and not selling it because I just enjoy driving it and using it, and it's just, all the cars I've got, it's the one I just hop in every time. It's just the easiest to get into in your work clothes and just mooch back and forth to work in. Does good MPG, pulls well for a little diesel van. I can throw everything in the back. So, but I'm in the business of selling cars, so if there's a profit to be made, I should sell it. And I've got my Acadian van to do, which I know won't be anywhere near as comfortable and as torquey, but it could still be a lot of fun. And my plan is that if it does go today, that I'll probably drive the red Alpha. I'll put the diesel Forte cleaner in the red Alpha and see if that makes any improvement on it, because although it does have an issue, like I say, I know that it's not boosting, it's boosting too late, like 3,500 revs it's boosting. In actual terms of driving the vehicle, it's entirely drivable. If I put someone in the car who didn't know how it should perform, they'd probably actually think it was a great car. But having driven the silver one, knowing it should boost at a lower rev range, I know there's something not quite right with it, but I can drive it around as is, use that for a bit. Speaking of the silver one, the door has come in for it. So the door arrived yesterday completely unwrapped with the courier, with the delivery sticker on it, no protection on the door at all, and it had this ding here in the door. Now that looked a lot worse. It had a load of all the marks from actually the ding and a load of black and stuff on it. So I messaged the seller, and I have got a reduction in price on the vehicle. So I got 50 quid in the vehicle, in the door. I got 50 quid off for that ding, which I will probably leave, to be fair. It is a 2011 car. The door on the vehicle at the moment's got those dings all the way along it, those long marks. This will look a hell of a lot better. Luckily, it's come with the door card still on it, so it literally is a case of just unbolting the old door, bolting the new one on. I just got to be a bit careful because I'm doing it on my own, and make sure that I can don't damage the door putting on. But once that's done, I can clean that silver one. It's got that advisory free MOT on it, hasn't it? I think I need to tidy the wheels up a bit, and I can get that one up for sale, which is long overdue. And then all I'll have outstanding is the red Fiesta and the red Alpha to sort out. So back to the van. I've just got to give it a really, really good clean. And if the chap mucks me about at all, I'll just send him on his way, because it's a good little van. Now, you're not going to believe who's actually come to look at it. In fact, I'm not going to tell you until after he's come and had a look, and we'll see if the sale's going ahead or not. What I didn't cover with the Caddy van, while I spray some G101 on it, is the problem with it going into limp mode. I've actually done nothing about it because it happens so infrequently, it wasn't bothering me. A lot of the time it doesn't do it at all, and if it does it once at the very beginning of a journey, which that might give you guys some tips as to what it is, only ever does it at the very beginning of a journey. So I'm wondering if it is an air fuel mixture reading. As soon as the car's warmed up, the van's warmed up, doesn't do it anymore. So I've done nothing about it because, to be honest, it's not been bothering me. And the chap who rang asking about this yesterday has been told all about that, and we'll do a deal either on the basis of me continuing trying to sort that out, or for him to live with it, because it's not that big a problem. Other than that, run like a dream. Do need to put some new front tyres on it before anybody takes it away, which I sorted with the guys down at Moore's garage to do that. It doesn't need a service because it had one quite recently, and it had its cam belt quite recently as well, didn't it? So all those things, good things about it, just needs a really good clean. I do wonder if that Forte cleaner didn't do any did it improve it, but then again, if it is a air fuel mixture reading when it's cold, then that wouldn't have done anything, I wouldn't have thought, unless it's just the turbo sticking while it's cold, and the gunge in the turbo is, you know, cooled down and it's sticking, and when it's warm it's not sticking. I don't know if that's possible. You guys will be able to tell me, but no. I have to be honest though, I probably would have fallen in love with any van I drive, because I just like driving vans, so I don't think it necessarily has to be a VW Caddy. Carlos has got a delivery for me from Barham Engines. Lee's decided it's about time I get my engine the hell out of his workshop. So here we have the MGB GT engine overboard to 1950cc with a high lift cam and a bit of float head, all that good stuff. and I'm going to watch Carlos struggle to get it out. No, I'll put the camera down and help him now. There we go. I think it'll be a while before this is paired up with that. Got other priorities right now. Got the new clutch, light and flywheel. Should be a lot of fun. So there we go, a little engine bay tidy up done. And then inside, with a clean of all the plastics. Put a bit of plastic shine on. It comes up really nice in there actually. I know the seat covers aren't to everyone's taste. The seats underneath are actually in quite good nick, but I've just left them on for the moment. It all comes up quite clean and tidy in there. So yeah, all set for its potential new owner. But it's one I can sell, given a very in-depth review of it, having driven it for as many months as I have. It's 2 months I've been driving it pretty solidly. Yeah, nice little van. So for the little vans you're looking for, at a good price, I think I'll probably end up letting them have it around 4K. Then I think you can't go far wrong with this van, especially around here in the southwest. If you wanted to sell it on afterwards, you might be able to make himself a few quid on it. They are going for very strong money at the moment. Right, time to get cracking on the Alphas. I did just start up the red one and move it around. All the brakes were free and it started on the button. So it is a bloody good looking car, that. I think that may well become my daily. That may well become my daily with if the Caddy van goes. But we've got to get onto this silver one. We're going to swap this door out, this dented door. It's got this new MOT, isn't it? Advisory free. Next thing is replace this horrible gear lever that's offending me. I might be the first thing I do actually. I just levered that off there. There's a bolt in there, 10mm bolt in there. I'll just swap that out just to tidy up the interior. And then this will get, I did think I had a valet coming today. I thought he was going to come for me today. My new chap was going to do some valeting, so I could have cracked on with some other stuff. But anyway, let's go on and get that done. Swap that gear knob out first, then get a door on it, then give it a clean, and then this is ready for sale. And this will make a cracking car for some 1.6 diesel. Goes low mileage, only 53,000 miles on this one, isn't it? I might have to do the wheels. They look a bit scuffed up, possibly. I'll see how they clean up. Sometimes a lot of this stuff comes off, but that looks pretty scuffed actually. So it may well be end up painting the wheels. They'll all have to come off and be done in one go. Yeah, they're pretty bad. I think I will have to paint the wheels. So not quite as quick as I thought. But let's get cracking. You'll note, guys, that I'm wearing blue gloves now. So many of you had a dig at me in the comments about getting all this various stuff through my skin, and you're absolutely right. I should be taking more care, and it's a bit more pleasant for everybody else as well when I have hands that look like they've been down, I don't know what, chip fat or something. They're just covered in whatever I've done for the day, be it spray paint, be it oil, whatever. So yeah, it's definitely worth doing. So there we go, just a 10mm nut at the middle there. Keep that there. And then this should come off. There we go. So I need to keep that spring, put that in a new one. Right, that aftermarket is horrible. It's not going on smoothly at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the new cover onto the old base so that it fits on nice and smoothly. That one feels like I'm either going to have to knock it on with a hammer, which I don't really want to do. It looks to me, I can see inside, I'm catching the edge of it a little bit. It needs to be ever so slightly machined out, or not filed out ever so slightly to fit nicely. So I think I'll probably go with the old base and the new top. I know we've got satin on top of, we've got chrome on top of satin, but I really don't think anybody's going to notice a difference, to be honest. There we go. I didn't fancy forcing the other one on and then getting it stuck and deciding it wouldn't work, so just went with that original and then just changed the cover over. I wonder if someone just does the cover for that. Maybe they do. But there we go. That lifts the interior a lot. Right, next thing I want to do is tidy up this wheel, because it does draw to the eye quite a lot, these white sections. I'm just going to give it a clean with some white spirits, make sure I've got all grease and stuff like that off. And I'm going to put a little bit of satin black in a pot with a small brush and just touch them in, tidy them up, just so they don't draw the eye so much. Just want to make sure there's no grease on it before I start trying to paint. Now you could put a primer down first, but I did have some clear plastic primer, but I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just going to make sure that it's super clean. And if I put one little coat on, a thin coat on with a brush, and allow that to tack off and take the plastic, I should then be able to put a heavier coat on without too much problem. Top tip: if you're going to flip a lot of cars, always have a couple of cans of satin black and gloss black kicking about, because they just can deal with a multitude of issues on a car, really make it look smart, make a hell of a difference. And there's no need to go for expensive stuff. I just buy the cheapy stuff. Just have a couple of cans kicking around, and it means some of your projects won't be held up. You'll be able to crack on with them. Just notice there's a little bit of touching up of paint to do on the front of that grille as well, isn't there? Ideally I'd have a smaller brush here, but you see I've touched a couple of places in already. Just very lightly dab it. So smaller sections have gone. Let's do this section here. So I'm just going to put a very thin coat on first, because otherwise it will just run straight off being plastic. It won't really adhere to it. So just put a thin coat on first and let it sit for a minute or two. Let's go over here and do some bits over here. So we've got this long section here. So I'd have a smaller brush, but I don't know what I've done with my smaller one at the moment, so I'm just using the edge of this one at the moment. Along there. And touching just here. Remember, less is more on these things. If you need to come back and put more paint on, that's fine, but trying to deal with the fact you've let a great big run down it is going to be a problem. You see, small details like this are going to make the world of difference when someone opens the door on the car. And I don't think anybody's going to fall over themselves and, oh my god, I can't possibly accept a car that's had a bit of satin back on the steering wheel. Don't know what that voice is all about. Don't know who I'm impersonating there. But you can see that I'm not going to be acting anytime soon. There's some down here as well. So this is the first coat, probably about 3 coats on this. And I don't actually mind the paint. You don't want to let it get, if you're putting a small amount in a lid like this, it will get quite thick quite quickly. So you don't want it to be thick, because you'll leave brush marks and all sorts in it. And you also don't want your paint to be sitting really proud of the rest of the paintwork. So just putting thin coats on. And I'll leave that a minute or two and we'll do some more, but it's already looking a million times better. That, along with the fresh gear knob, is going to make the interior look a lot more loved, especially once we actually get around and clean it all as well. Right, second coat on. Walking all quiet there because I've got serious, didn't I? Just dabbing again. That might be enough, you know. To this edge down here again. And I might decide once I see it out in the light a bit more that it needs a bit more, but I honestly think this is going to be enough. A bit more there, a bit more on this edge here. So we can always put more on later if we want to, but I'm going to call that job done. I'm going to leave that there. Oh, hold on, I nearly forgot this bit down here, didn't I? I keep forgetting this bit down here. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. So we'll call that job done for the moment, I think. Another good product for that, if you haven't used it before, it would be Plaster Dip. I mean, you could mask the whole steering wheel up and then mask the buttons and spray the whole thing, but I think that seems a little excessive to me. But yeah, Plaster Dip's another thing that would go straight on that without too much of a problem, but it would probably be slightly different colour and finish to the paint. I would imagine the factory used a satin black, so that's why I use satin black. Right, let's have a look at getting this door off. So we've got the check strap to undo, and then we've got these two big bolts here, so just two nice big bolts, and then we've got the connector there. Now I'm going to disconnect the battery just in case. No, do I need to disconnect the battery? I'm going to risk it for a biscuit without disconnecting the battery. I was just thinking it might upset something, but there's no airbags I need to think about, are there? So I don't see why it should upset it if I just disconnect it and reconnect it, unless it upsets the central locking. Let's disconnect the battery just for safety. I'm sure I'll get a lot of comments down below on whether I should or shouldn't be doing it, but I know bugger all about electronics, and if it causes a problem, I'll be kicking myself later on. I got my jack supporting the bottom of the door, so I don't put too much weight on these when I undo them and potentially break anything. So yeah, I've got that jacked up just to take the weight off it a little bit. Now some of you may already be shouting at the screen, James, why take the big bolts out? Why not take the little bolts out there, and then you've got something to actually hang the door on, especially as you're on your own, and it's going to be a lot easier to do that than it is to take them off and have the door completely free floating. And you're absolutely right. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, with those bolts taken out, we still have the door on those pins. I should, don't know if I can get an angle for you guys. Let's see. Famous last words, I should be able to get the door off. There we go. This is why it's important to always take a step back and have a little look. So leaving those on meant the door was supported at all times. This is going to be blindingly obvious to you guys. I do this all the time, but sometimes on my own I have to take a step back and realise it. So the old car has still got them on, so I should just be able to lift that on there and get it on there nicely without risk of dropping it. But obviously now I've just got to line it all up at the same time. It's going to be a bit higgledy-piggledy. Let's pick it up here again. Let's see how we get on. Well, there we go. Not too much fiddling. And we're back on again. So what we've got to do is put those pins back in and we're good to go. So a quick look at the colour match. Should be exactly the same, it's off the same car. Same colour car. Yeah. That's saving us a lot of pain, and we got rid of all those dents we're down. No, we've still got that one there, but overall this is going to look a lot better. A lot better. So let's go back gently a second, and I don't want to catch that wire, and let's get that sorted first. Could loosen these off a bit and see if I can't shove the door out that way a touch. Strange, isn't it? Because there's not a lot of place for it to move. I really can't decide if it's just me or if that is bigger or not. Right, that's all been nipped up. Excuse me. There we have it, guys. One Giulietta door fitted. Is that panel gap the same? Let's go and have a quick look around the other side. Panel gap's a little wider on this side. It could be that I can fiddle around with it a little bit and just pull the door this side. Let's have a look at the panel gap there. Actually no, look at this, look at it dead on. It's funny because that gap doesn't look any bigger, but for some reason that gap does look a bit bigger. Or maybe it's sticking out a bit. Maybe the striker needs to go in a little bit. These are the things I begin to obsess over. So that's just touching. Yeah, no. It's not a lot, but there is a slight difference. So a little fiddle with those hinges there. I might end up regretting this, mightn't I? Because it might end up dropping. But let me see if I can't just undo them a touch and shove this along a bit. Well, that seems a bit better. That seems a bit better. And just get that bit of my finger in there. Yeah, I'm happier with that. That would have bothered the hell out of me, that would have really bothered me. So what I did is undid these hinges here and undid the door, you know, released the door handle a little bit and just give it a little bit of a shove that way. So now I just need to make sure I torque them right up so that they, I can see a tiny little bit of movement there. Torque them right up and make sure that the door opens and shuts okay again, alright. This, I was a bit hesitant to do it because I've done this game before and you end up chasing, you know, 4 different shut lines. The bottom one, the one here, and the one over there. I mean, it's possible now that we've created a bigger shut line over here, but we'll have to have a little look at that in a second. But yeah, so I'm always a little bit cautious to do it, especially when you're on your own as well, because you really need someone else holding the door to prevent it moving in any other direction. This is the important moment when I shut this door. How's my panel gap there now? Right, well, it's even all the way down. I haven't created an uneven panel gap there. Maybe a touch wider than the other side. As I say, sometimes you're sacrificing one for another, but that gap was a little bit too big for me. I can live with that gap. I can't live with that gap. The gap that was there. So I think we'll live with that. This opens and shuts fine. yeah, I think leave it alone now, James. You can become obsessive over it. It is, after all, a 2011 car. I don't think people are going to be going around measuring the panel gaps on my cars, are they? No, leave it at that. Leave it at that. To be honest, I was more worried about the colour match, because you never know if a door off another car has had some paint in its life. But this looks like a good match. I think we'll be alright. So now we can get on and clean it. So I'm down with Phil at Moore's. He's off busy doing an MOT at the moment. Picked up the Fiat 500 from my customer who had a problem with the rear lights faffing around. Various lights failing. So I've just dropped it down to Phil to have his guys change out the wiring loom. I provided the whole wiring loom on this one. So, I mean, I could do it myself, but I'm really short on time today, and you can already see all the wires that are broken there. Tons of wires. Very common on the Fiat 500s. This knocks out all your rear brake lights, and you can knock out your wiper and all sorts. So hopefully get it back to the customer today. So that's a customer's Fiat 500 down with Moore's to do that. Reason I'm having them doing it, I need to crack on, get this Alpha ready for the weekend, so it's up for sale at the weekend. So today I need to clean it. I need to order up the service kit for it. I need to do a service on it, and I've got to sort these wheels out, paint these wheels. Hoping to get all that done today, depending on how many interruptions I have. So let's get cracking. So the VW Caddy is sold. The chap came by last night. He had a test drive in it. Good run round. Bit of chat about the things I know that are wrong with it. I'm going to put some front tyres on it for him. I am going to Mr. Muscle the turbo, change the air mass meter out on it, airflow meter on it, which are fairly inexpensive things to do. But I did say to him if that didn't fix it, then it might just have to stay as it was, but we'd give it a go. He took it out for a drive, absolutely loved it, said it goes really well. Was impressed how clean it was versus the other vans that he's been out to see. Now I had it up for 4,495, didn't I? But I've sold it to him for 4,000. And there I'm making some profit. And I've had my use out of it, moving it back and forth between the units. Am I going to miss it? I think I probably am. Probably am. It's been a cracking little runabout for me. Now, I said earlier you're not going to believe who's bought this. So those of you that watch my channel regularly are going to be surprised to hear the person that has bought this van is the chap that had the blue Punto off of me. Now that you'll notice, again, if you watch my channel from an earlier video, you'll know about the blue Fiat Punto I sold, where the chap was very short on cash and didn't want a warranty, wanted to buy it as is. And then I think it was 2 months later, so this was a 2009 Punto with 105,000 miles, something like that, and I sold it to him for, I want to sell it to him for well under 2k or something like that. And then 2 months later the gearbox started playing up on it, and like I said, he turned down the warranty, didn't want a warranty, wanted to pay less for the car, and came in and said, look, the gearbox is bad on it. And you'll remember that he was actually really cool about it. Well, I guess he had to be, because a lot of you said I shouldn't have done anything for him, and I did the repair at cost for him. So I ate the labour and he paid for the gearbox. So I did pay someone to fit the gearbox for me. Pete helped me do it, so there was some cost to me, but it was very minimal, and he paid the rest of it. Well, he rang me up and said, my other vehicle, my Freelander, has just had the cam belt go on it, and I've got nothing to drive, and I wanted a van, and I saw you had one up for sale, so I thought I'd come and see you. And it's the same scenario, which a lot of you are going to shout at the screen. He's a bit short on cash. He's taken the van as is, and he's having it with £500 off. And he knows the score. Like I said, I've gone through and said, look, the radio's not working, the horn's on a separate button, I don't know why. And it's got this intermittent fault with it going into limp mode, but it hasn't been doing it very much at all recently. But he went for a really long test driving, as I said, and really enjoyed the drive. Was really impressed with the punch it had and so forth. So yeah, he's paid in full already, and we're just going to take it down Moore's, get the tyres done, do that, say Mr. Muscle the turbo, change the air mass out, just in case that is going to sort it out. But he understands that if it doesn't sort it out, that's kind of where it is with it. So yeah, that's the third car he's had off me now, because he had the Mito, that got hit and written off, and that's why he came and bought the Punto, because he only had the money from the insurance payout on the Mito to buy the Punto, and now he's come for me on the van. So he's a lovely chap, really lovely chap. But I did question yesterday. I did actually say to him, you know what I'm like about sales prevention. I did say to him, do you really want to do this? You sure you don't want to go out and lease something? I said, because you're having really bad luck with cars at the moment. All these cheap cars you keep buying, you're spending out. Wouldn't it not be cheaper just to go and lease something? And he said, oh, I've done the maths on it, and I still don't think it'll be cheaper. I'm not so sure about that, but I said, look, you're buying an old vehicle again, 150,000 miles, and I said, you know, with the best will in the world, I haven't got a crystal ball. I can't tell you what might go wrong with it. I said, I know that the dual mass flywheels are a risk, but I've done that. Obviously, your cam belt can be a risk, but that's just been done. And then your other risk is the turbo. Now, we're pretty convinced the turbo's okay on this because it boosts well, but it could possibly be the turbo. After we do all these other things, it could turn out that the turbo needs replacing. I said, that is a risk, but I can only be upfront and straight about that, and if he decides then still to go ahead, which he has, then that's the score. And I'm in the business of selling stuff. What I drove home last night, there's in part to it, is the red Giulietta, and it's not here because I've left it at the customer's house where I picked up the Fiat 500 from today. I drove that home last night and I drove back in today. Now before I did that, I put the turbo cleaner in, the Forte turbo cleaner in there, and because it only had a little bit, only had like a quarter of a tank of fuel, so I put the Forte turbo cleaner and the diesel cleaner treatment both in together on it. Drove it home last night. That car drives really well, guys. It drives really, such a nice car, such a nice interior. It handles so well. It's quiet, it's smooth. It goes so well. I know that it's still not 100% performing correctly. The boost is still kicking in a bit late. I do think it was improving. I drove it in this morning, and it seemed to be kicking in a bit lower down as well, but it does seem to be kicking in sort of like more 3,000 revs than I think it should be kicking in around 2,000 revs. I'm still not quite sure what the problem is with that. When I compare it to this one and when I drive it, this one does have punch lower down, and it's the 1.6, that one's a 2 litre. This has a bit more punch lower down, but isn't as quick overall. But if I gave the keys to somebody on that Giulietta now, the red one, and told them to take it out and drive it, they come back and go, that's a fantastic car, isn't it quick, isn't it nice, all those kind of things. And they probably wouldn't know any better, because if they hadn't driven one back to back, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But it just drives so nice, so that may well become my daily. You know, if there's a car with a little niggly problem that I'm not sure whether it's something that can be sorted out by just driving the vehicle more with things like treatments in, I keep them and running myself like I did with the van. But other than that, that car is fantastic, and boy doesn't it look good. So that may well be my daily now. Won't work quite as well as a van for me, but it may well be my daily. So for those of you who've been giving me grief about not getting on with the Alphas, I'm going to use the red one myself, and I'm going to get this one ready today, hopefully. As I said before, get this one out the door. And then, believe it or not, the only thing I'll have left that I need to work on is that that Fiesta out there, because I haven't bought any more stock recently. Well, as I said, December, I'm thinking of having a bit of a month off with December and focus on getting the Arcadian van and the Sebring further forward. But best laid plans. I'm sure somebody will be messaging me soon, offering me cars, and I'll end up buying stuff. Now this is going to be a mammoth job, guys. Every millimetre of the car needs a really good clean. Oh, what's this? This is service information. I'll have a go through that in a minute. Got some MOTs and stuff there. Yeah, so proper clean needed. This is probably going to be an all-day job, this, to get this right. I need to get everything out of the car. Oh, I trust it has to be screwed down. Yeah, everything out of the car and really go to town on it. Right, so that's taken me pretty much most of the day just to clean the interior. I'm gonna have to take it outside and show you later. But it's a million times better, guys. A million times. In fact, it looks mint now. Absolutely mint. Come up really well. Like I say, I'll show you when I'm outside. But now I've got to rush off and I've got to take the Caddy down to have the tyres done. And when I'm down having the tyres done, I'm picking up the Fiat 500. They've done the wiring loom for me on. So it's all about spinning plates. I shouldn't be offering to pick cars up and drop them off, should I really? A lot of you will probably have a go at me for that. The main dealers don't do it for anyone, do they? But anyway, let's get cracking. That's how many cloths I've gone through cleaning the interior of the car, guys. That's how many microfibers I've gone through. Because obviously each microfiber has to be used to draw the dirt out. If I use it the same one again, I'll just put the dirt back in again. So I've got to draw the dirt out, give it another clean, then put it on. Each seat's taken 3 cleans to do. So perhaps something like that Bizzle steam cleaner is a good move, because my wife's getting fed up washing all these cloths. So I didn't get away scot-free with the repair on the Audi A1 for the injector, because the garage ended up needing a leak down pipe for the car. £86.46. I did find them online for like 20 or 30 quid, but I imagine they've gone and got genuine from Audi, and then the various washers that warranty wise wouldn't pay out for, so £115.75. So talking about margins again, that's, there you go, £115, even paying out for a warranty at 150 quid. I've got a £115 bill, but that could have been over £1,000 I was paying out myself. So again, those of you talking about dealers making too much margin are talking absolutely out your backside. If you're a dealer who's going to, stand by, if you're a dealer who's going to stand by and do repairs for people, then you just can't work off these tiny margins. You can't, like I say, you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't have dealers making peanuts on cars and then complain they don't want to fix stuff when it goes wrong. So that's the Fiat 500 back. The Caddy's gone in for tyres, and I've got to get that 500 back at a reasonable time for the person, so I'll be closing up. It's just come in up past 5. So what have we achieved today? Well, we've been speaking to a few people on cars. Been quite a lot of messages on cars today, been going back and forth on that. First thing this morning, I had to transfer the money over for the Audi parts of the Audi repair that weren't covered by the warranty. That's cost me about 120 quid, I think, something like that. And the Fiat 500 just cost me about 80 quid, I think it was, 80, 90 quid for the Fiat 500. Then I got the wiring loom on top. So, what are we? We're in the region of, plus the cost of the wiring loom, I think we're in the region of 200, our sole achievement today has been to spend 250 quid, is all we've managed to do, spend 250 quid on something that we're not getting back. So that is a bit of a insight into daily trading. That took a lot longer than I was expecting. I was hoping to have this fully clean today, but with talking to people about cars and going picking cars up and stuff like that, and the fact that it was just so dirty, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to get done on that. So I'm going to have to come in early, jump on that first thing tomorrow morning, get that cleaned, ready for photo shoot so I can get that up for sale. I have got the servicing stuff for it here as well, but I think I'll photo shoot it first, then bring it back in and do the servicing. So that's, I've got 2 service kits to come in. I've got, what have I got the service kits in for? One for the Alpha. I can't even remember what I've got the other service kit in for. Oh, one for the Kia Picanto. So that's ready to go as soon as it comes in. I've still got to sort out the rear caliper on that Kia Picanto. So yeah, sole achievement today is to spend money that we're not getting back. But yeah, a little bit more insight to what it's like being a small dealer.